Paul, I won't ask you too much about the game from Saturday because you've not trained since, but what did you make of the character you saw from his side after going 2-0?
I was really pleased. I think it's a sort of factor that people have maybe questioned, but I'm a big believer in circumstances, and don't feel we've had that many situations where that would really come into question, or in an obvious way. Saturday was there. We were 2-0 down after 8 minutes, again after strangely starting the game on the front foot and well. From the first attack they get the corner, the referee gives a penalty. I'm still convinced it's very soft at best, but that's the situation that we found ourselves in, and on another day that could have gone very differently, and if there was a lack of character in the group, then I'm sure it would have done, but they responded extremely well. Like I said, they'd actually started a game, so we're talking about a game in 8 minutes and finding yourselves 2-0 down, but they kept on. We had to, did we ride his luck with the penalty miss? I think Eastie would have actually saved that one, looking at it back. And we had to put there were 2 excellent blocks in from another attack they had, but we had our moments as well, and getting the goal back before half time, I think helped perhaps that a little bit of belief within the group overall. And then afterwards, start of the second half, did really well. At the end, he kind of felt sore in a lot of ways, the defeat, or in some ways. At the same time, I think the players knew that they'd put in a pretty good effort there, albeit it counted for nothing in the end. But I've always said I believe this character here. I think that's relatively obvious to us, but as I said, maybe Saturday was a situation where it was shown more obviously.
Looking at the team you've got available to you tomorrow night, Harry Clifton is obviously out with his 5th yellow card on Saturday.
Yeah.
Luke Waterfall comes back into contention, I believe.
Yeah.
But any further injury absences? I know Gav Holohan came off towards the end with a knock.
Yeah, I think Niall had a knock. I think he should be okay. Gav is certainly a lot more of a concern. I think he's hopeful, but I don't know if that's just wishful thinking. We'll see. We'll obviously give him every opportunity to prove he is fit, but I think that will be a call tomorrow, and will involve ultimately a fitness test of some kind, because he's certainly, if the game was now, he wouldn't be fit. So we could be missing a couple of players from one area of the pitch that we had in the starting lineup at the weekend, which again raises its own issues. We've obviously got other players, but are they quite the same to do the same roles? I've got a bit of thinking to do of what feels right and best. At the weekend, like I said, I was happy with quite a lot of our performance, but certainly some things to improve on, as there near enough is every game you watch back. You can really pick things apart, but we change system, and it's whether or not we do something similar, or whether we change back to perhaps what we've been doing more previously, because without sounding like a broken record, performance levels I've been relatively happy with across the board. So not all's wrong, of course not everything's right, but I think a lot of the time we're talking about moments in games, whether that's us being making a bad decision, whether that's giving the opposition some plaudits, which we never like to do, or maybe it's a decision that's out of our control. So within those things we've got to find the solution and get a win. That's what we'll be aiming for. We know the importance of the game.
You touched on the shape change on Saturday. You went back to a similar shape to what served us quite well in the second half of last season. What do you make of how your team adapted to it?
I think it was new for RV, as in them playing together, and we obviously made an adjustment with Mishi and Toby swapping positions. So, but that's something those players allow us to do. I thought some of it was good, as I said, and others things there were situations where we'll show the players in terms of how to do better. But in the main, that they're a threat. You know, with the way that they play. It was interesting speaking to them. I'm not going to give anything away, it's not my place, but some of their sort of thoughts. But they get bodies forward quick and well, and like I said, we couple of really good bits of defending, but I'm not sure in the end how many like saves they've forced Jake into, and some of that was credit to the defending, but also how we had some good possession, particularly towards the end of the first half and the start of the second, where for a period we certainly took control. So that was pleasing. So, you know, just talking in those terms, you know, some of the performance was certainly good.
And you're facing a side who've sacked the manager in the aftermath of their game on Saturday. Does that make them an unpredictable team to come up against?
I think they're a little bit of unpredictable anyway, as in they've changed shape a few times. Different players have come in, they've had people suspended. I think they've got a couple of players back from suspension. And as you say, when there's a change made, I think that as we speak, I don't know who's going to actually take charge, and they were not forthcoming in saying anything about that. I don't know if there's a statement today going out, but it depends, I guess, who takes over, what they've seen. Have they got a totally different idea about what the team should have been doing? Do they stick to something similar-ish? They've got a lot of younger players that come through the academy. They spend a lot of money there, and I've had kind of the rewards of that in some ways, but maybe not quite in terms of getting to the top of this league, more recently at least. So it'll be interesting, but it does make it hard to set up, watch the game from the weekend, watch previous games. We know some of the individual qualities that some of the players have and the threats that they'll carry. But in terms of actually me even getting close to predicting what lineup will be, I think that's almost mission impossible.